realistically, but not he didn't have the staff and the budget to do that.
No.
So he did the rotoscoping thing. And the one movie that was shown on HBO over and over again that a lot of people saw was American Pop. And they were like, wow, what is this? It looks like real people. It's a real story being told, which is one of his problems also. He tried to tell sometimes real stories using rotoscope, and that didn't work too well. But they're like, this is kind of visually fascinating. So the guy is a visionary, man. I mean, it might not be new to you, but go and revisit it. If you haven't heard of him, go and look up his stuff. And I'm warning you, I personally think that it's not very coherent storytelling.
It's his stuff is very experimental.
Yeah, but watch it.
But it's very good experimental.
I'm going to try and get an interview with him, a phone interview. I mean, because that would be my dream. The guy, I mean, he's such a nice guy, too. We talked to each other for like about 5 minutes, and I was like, he doesn't even remember the fuck I am. But I was like, wow, I barely lay praise on somebody like this because celebrities are just celebrities, whatever. But this guy is influential.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy fuck, man.
I know a whole generation of animators who are all they were all influenced by Bakshi. He was that guy.
And go and watch this fucking Mighty Mouse cartoon that he put on. And it's funny because I know about Ralph Bakshi. I saw this shit when I was a teenager. And he did a Mighty Mouse cartoon for Saturday morning. And I said to myself, he's going to fuck this up and get it off. And I didn't mean fuck it up in a bad way. I was like, he's going to do something and get this shit yanked. And sure enough, there was one episode where Mighty Mouse, he sees this poor little girl, kind of like the matchstick girl on the street. And she gives him a little flower girl. And he takes it, crushes it, opens his palm, and it's all powder. And what does he do? He sniffs it. Like, first thing you think automatically is, okay, he just did cocaine. And of course, some preacher saw this and said, get that shit off TV. And I was like, well, it is kind of weird. So, and it's a very bizarre cartoon. It creeped me out at times. If you can get a hold of these old cartoons, they're fascinating. Watch them. And because he also worked for a ton of animation studios. He worked for Terry Toons, which I think did Mighty Mouse. And since he kind of worked for them, he was able to do a cartoon about them. For those of you, this might be too old for some of you younger people out there, but there was a cartoon called The Mighty Heroes. They had Rope Man and Baby Man. A lot of people don't remember this.
I don't even remember this. But I remember weird ass shit like that. What the hell is this?
Well, in Waco, this is something you're talking about syndicated TV.
Like Waco
yeah, exactly. You know, you're talking about shit that they just bought bargain bin and just reran it on some cartoon show they had and Mighty Heroes.
Boy, I'm the Amazing Baby Boy. Really, what it was actually just a bunch of old cartoons from the 50s, and they dubbed in new voices and made it a superhero.
No,
show.
they were from the 60s. They did that budget animation, and so he was able to even take some of those characters and put them in Mighty Mouse. Like I said, look, this shit is before me, but they reran it. I saw it. Ralph Bakshi, look him up. Ralph, R-A-L-P-H, Bakshi, B-A-K-S-H-I. Look him up and watch some of his films. And if you haven't seen them, you owe it to yourself, especially if you love animation. So anyway, what's on your mind?
I have nothing on my mind.
Okay, I have something on my mind. Did you see The Day the Earth Stood Still trailer and the Quantum of Solace trailers? I'm just mentioning cool trailers that I saw.
I saw the Day the Earth Stood Still trailer.
What do you think about that? I thought it looked kind of cool myself.
See, actually, well, it's a weird thing for me. I've been emailing back and forth with the director of that for like 2 years. He reads my stuff.
I love you, Carlisle.
No. He reads my stuff on another site, and he shares the same opinions with me. And I loved his last film. You didn't. But
Which was?
The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Didn't hate it, but didn't like it.
Yeah, no, I remember. You really didn't like it. And
had a couple of creepy parts in there. Most of it was bullshit to me.
Well, because it was a movie that was sold as a horror film, and then it turned out to be a legal existential drama. And I dug that because it's like, wow, it's a legal existential drama. That's incredible. And you're like, this is some old bullshit. I was promised fucking ghosts and shit blowing up, and I want my fucking spirits. I don't want some fucking 24-year-old hottie. Granted, she's hot, but I don't want some 24-year-old hottie like bending over. It's like, ooh, that's the extent of her crazy.
Okay, you exaggerate, and I probably did do that for comic effect. I probably did do that because in the trailers they had the devil talking like Emily Rose is the scariest movie you've seen in forever, and I was like, okay. Now when I watched the movie, I said that really is bad marketing because not only did they introduce this courtroom aspect of it. Now, if you like me, all that courtroom shit, unless you do it well, it becomes very boring, and too many people have done it that way. And in this movie, Yes, it was boring. And I was like, wow, for a movie that you promised some scares to, some fascination about exorcisms themselves, I get a courtroom drama that's mediocre. Oh, go to hell.
And see, I disagree. I loved the hell out of that film. I thought it was really cool. And this is why I bring this up. Because I think this might be another one of those films. The Day the Earth Stood Still is one of those. It's a classic.
The movie, the 1950s movie. Where
it's also, I will argue, a classic that nobody fucking watches anymore. Yeah. It's one of those you watch when you're a kid and you hold as a classic.
It has an icon. With Gore, whatever, the robot, coming out zapping with his eyes. That's an icon for that movie, and people know that icon more than they know the movie. And in that same Baratu, yeah, exactly. And that's one of the most famous lines in science fiction. But you have to be like a real nerd to know that. You know what I'm saying? So
or an Evil Dead fan.
Is that what they say?
In fact, here's one of those beautiful moments in which I was at this screening for Evil Dead 2. And the whole big reason it was a big screening, it was at the Alamo Drafthouse, and it was, Bruce Campbell presents Evil Dead 2. So Bruce Campbell's there. He showed a short film that he made that was really, really good, called Finalysis. If you can ever find this thing, check it out. It's a half-an-hour film Bruce Campbell made about what it's like to be famous and deal with fanboys. And it's him, it's celebrities, and he interviews several other celebrity friends of his. It's celebrities looking through their eyes at the fans. And and it taught me so much about fanboyism.
You're like, Jesus, I'm an asshole.
Fantastic. It's no. It's like you see the really weird fans. And it taught me a lot of you learn a lot of the things not to do around famous people. It's very, very cool documentary. But he showed that, and some asshole in the audience, because he's doing a question and answer, and people are asking really good questions and asking about all this stuff.
And then somebody asks a stupid question.
Somebody raised their hand and goes, "Do you know where the term Klaatu Verata Nikto comes from?" And he's like, "Are you kidding me? That's your question?" And he was all Bruce Campbell about it. He's like, shut the fuck up. It came from The Day the Earth Stood Still. Everybody knows that. Yeah, it's like what was the first video played on MTV? Everyone knows the answer to that question.
Beat It. No, I'm kidding. It was the Video Killed the Radio Star. Right?
Yeah. By the Bugle. Everybody fucking knows the answer to that trivia question. It's like I know what the first. Who cares? Everyone knows it. You
ain't impressing nobody. Is what you're saying.
It's one of those things that it was.
But The Day the Earth Stood Still, the trailer to me actually looks kind of cool.
I
love this whole. It just has a very solemn, almost depressing approach to it in that trailer, and I like that.
They're also keeping a lot of the stuff hidden, and what I've been told by Scott is that.
Look at you on first name basis with him. Well, I've been told about.
Well, not a full first name.
Scotty basis. Is what I call him.
We email back. Yeah,
my
boy. Scott Derrickson, and what he's been telling me is that he hasn't given me any good details on it, and I haven't pressed him for it. But he said that all the fan stuff, the stuff that the fans are looking for, is there. But he's trying to keep it real quiet right now because he doesn't want to blow, the thing, 3 months, 6 months out. So, but he's showing something at Comic-Con. I'll
look out for it because
I'm very curious to see what happens. The one thing I'm worried about is the weekend it's being released. And
what is it going up against?
Well, no, it's not. It's not that it's going up against. It's going out in a classic dump weekend where movies will get dumped because it's like I think it gets released December 12th.
If they push it as a special effects movie, though, it'll get people in.
No. But what I'm talking about is it's already got its planned date, and the date is always just that day where they typically release movies that are getting dumped.
That's kind of changing right now, though. I mean, I remember when April and March used to be seen as dump days, and then some movies do well in those months. So
I hope beyond hope that this is actually a really cool film. Mm-hmm. And I want it to be good. I'm still apprehensive because, you are remaking a classic. And I don't care if I liked your last movie or not. Anytime you remake a classic, I'm going to be anxious about it. Doesn't mean that, who knows? Could you imagine what it would be like to be a geek in 1982 and think, oh, my God, how could anybody remake Howard Hawks' The Thing? Oh, what kind of asshole would they're remaking everything now, and now they're remaking The Thing from Another World? That was one of the great classics of my childhood. Yeah. And then it turns out to be that. Could it be there? Who knows?
Well, let me tell you something about remakes. I don't have a problem with remakes. I have a problem with them remaking every fucking thing out there. That's my problem. You don't have an idea, just remake it. They remake movies that need to be remade. The Day the Earth Stood Still, not a lot of people have seen that movie. I don't care how much of a classic it is. These days, not a lot of people have seen it. Yeah, reintroduce it, remake it, have people go discover the old one. Exactly. I'm fine with that. When you're remaking shit that doesn't need to be remade, then like some classic movies, I don't know about that.
This is where, the reason why I don't get all geek rage about remakes is because I save that for the special moments when it needs to be done. There are people who scream about every remake and then feel they have to write the 12 billionth rant about why are they remaking everything these days. Thing is, you look at the history of films, we've always been remaking things. There's the same amount of remakes every year going back. They're always remaking shit. Are we remaking TV shows or are we remaking movies?
Back in the day, we remade things. I mean, we remade Cecil B. DeMille remade the Ten Commandments.
No. I know. I mean, I put I had a weblog about that, about my the top five greatest remakes of all time. If you haven't seen that, check that one out. It's in my blog. It's in my video blog section. But the thing is there are times where, like a few years ago, when Ben Affleck and J-Lo were still dating. Remember when they were Bennifer?
Oh, how could I forget?
How could you forget Bennifer? Because we couldn't turn around without hearing about Bennifer. Yeah, remember when they were going to remake Casablanca?
Man, I wonder if that was a publicity stunt.
That's what you get pissed about.
No.
So many people screamed and hollered. They refused. Nobody was going to let them do that. They thought they were big enough to pull it off, and then it's like, oh hell no, you guys are not remaking.
Yeah,
Casablanca.
no. They look. Maybe if it had been done by a more classy couple or just a badass director, I even then would have been like, no, fuck, don't do this. Move on to something else. Yeah. But you talking about Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck? You better get your fucking ass on out of here with that shit.
But really, Casablanca is one of those rare films. I just saw this in a theater again just a few weeks ago. The audience just went nuts for it. I mean, I took a bunch of people who had never seen it, and they just went nuts for the film. They were laughing in all the right places.
They're just some movies
that holds up. If you out there have still not seen Casablanca, but it's one of those films that you think, oh, I've heard about that so many times, I feel like I've already seen it. You haven't seen it. You have to sit down and watch this movie at your earliest convenience. It is the greatest fucking movie ever goddamn made.
Okay, I wouldn't say ever. It's a good movie.
No. It is my favorite movie of all time. I've watched that film hundreds of times.
Not mine, but I mean, it's a good movie.
Yours is Black Samson.
I think it's not Black Samson, and yours is every fucking Michael Bay movie made.
Sure it is. No, I'm saying I love this movie. If you still haven't seen it, you must watch it.
No, I got you. I'm just saying that there's some movies that you're just never going to top, ever. Yeah. Like they remade Psycho. Okay, fine. You experimented. That's great. What did you accomplish? Nothing. I mean, because Psycho, I wasn't pissed about it, but I'm like, hey, that was wasted time, man.
It's funny that you bring that up. I saw that again in a theater recently, and it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, no, they shouldn't have remade this. Although I will say that seeing it again in a theater, there are two performances in the remake that I prefer to the performances in the original film, but I still prefer the original film. William H. Macy and Viggo Mortensen were just so much better than the guys in the original film.
Well, that's just probably because they were updated, but
because both of those guys are incredible actors. Viggo Mortensen and William H. Macy are both just top of their game badasses.
You want to get into some email?
No, I hate email. I fucking hate email. No, answer an email. I don't care.
Okay, let's go and get into some email right here.
Want to answer an email?
We got 18 minutes left, so 16 now. So I figured, hey, why not jump into some email real quick? Oh, let's see. Well, of course, hey, Alex Hacker, man, had a very excellent question here, and he says, with Mike Myers wearing out his welcome in comedies, do you think he should go the Jim Carrey route and try his hand at a more dramatic role? And he does mention Studio 54, and he says we all know that sucked ass. If not, well, hey, that's what he says. Hold on, let me finish. If not Mike Myers, then what comedic actor should try a more dramatic role? And that's from Alex Hacker. Let me just first say that a lot of people after The Love Guru, they thought I hate Mike Myers, and I don't. I actually think Mike Myers is a very talented guy. I think all those accents that he can do, that's for nothing, all right? It's just the context that he does them in, it's which he keeps doing the same series of jokes over and over again with them. I think, I totally agree that he should apply himself in a different direction, which would probably be doing a more serious role.
Alex, you're on crack. 54 was actually not, it wasn't a terrible movie. It didn't suck ass. It was a good movie. It was a great kind of a great slice of what that time was. And it was worth seeing for two reasons. One, to see Ryan Philippe, who kind of exploded out of that movie. And he did a really good job in that. And then, of course, Mike Myers, who's incredible in that movie. He's fantastic. Even though the movie is not like an epic classic, even though I don't even know if it'll hold up.
I agree with you. I think the movie's not bad. But I don't think it's that good. But I do think if you watch it for one reason, you do get a glimpse of Mike Myers actually doing something a little more serious, and he pulls it off, which gives me confidence in him doing something more serious now.
Yeah, no, and the thing is that if you look at the history of comedians going to serious film, comedy is just acting. Comedy is all about, in order to do comedy right, it's all about knowing exactly what to say, when to say it, and how to say it.
It's all about timing
and delivery. That's all acting is. So moving from telling a joke to selling the idea that you're really wounded by something, there's a lot of acting involved in good comedy. So it is not that far of a leap. That's how we've seen people like Jamie Foxx. Yeah. We've seen
Robin Williams. We've seen, of course, Jim Carrey. We've seen what's his name? What he was in Homicide. I just knew Richard Belzer.
Yeah,
go
Richard
from
Belzer
We've even seen. He was in Aliens. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, Paul Reiser.
Paul Reiser. We've seen Paul Reiser do dramatic roles before.
He's gone back and forth.
Yeah, he's gone back and forth.
No, it's not a far leap. So, it really, who really impressed me recently? Dane Cook, who I'm not a fan of his comedy.
Oh, you talking about in Mr. Brooks?
Yeah, Mr. Brooks. I thought he was solid in Mr.
No,
Brooks.
he was good in that. I don't even like
Dane
Cook that much.
Movie.
Yeah.
In fact, the thing about Mr. Brooks is one of those movies that somebody promised to send it to me. They read my review online. They promised to send me a version of it. It never came. I've been waiting for this thing. I want to see this thing. Somebody did exactly what I said and edited out all the scenes with Demi Moore. Because all the scenes with Demi Moore felt like they were put in there by a producer who said, you can't make a movie about a serial killer and just a serial killer. Yeah. We have to have somebody the audience will like a cop character. No, all the scenes with Demi Moore suck ass. Everything with Kevin Costner and Dane Cook and Kevin Costner's daughter is fantastic.
A lot of people think that look, I've seen Kevin Costner in two movies that weren't very well accepted that he was good in. What is it? 20,000 miles to Vegas.
3,000 miles to Graceland.
To Graceland, yeah. He was a villain in that movie, and it's a terrible movie. But he was good as a villain. If you ask me,
if you want to talk about him being good, let's talk about 13 Days, where he was fantastic.
Yeah, no,
he played the Secretary of State. Oh my God!
Well, before we go too far off point, let's get back to
not Secretary of State. I'm sorry, he played the president's chief of staff.
Yeah. And that's during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Yeah, but let's bring it back to...
If you haven't seen that film, that's a film to track down. 13 Days, incredible film.
But no, look, it's harder for an actor to go into comedy than it is for a comedian to go into acting, because you're right. Yeah. It's all about timing. It's all about being comfortable in front of the camera. I mean, if you're comfortable enough to go up there and tell a joke and possibly bomb, you can go and probably switch to drama.
And it's all about knowing how to bomb and how to keep going even when you are bombing.
Now, I've seen some comedians actually make the transition briefly, and I thought that, wow, they can do this if given a chance.
Sinbad.
No, not no, but hell no.
Now we've taken this crazy train off the rails.
I am going to talk about black comedians, and I don't mean to bring it to a black thing. I mean, I wish I could think of some other people than black people so nobody would hold it over me, but there's just two people that immediately come to mind. Chris Tucker, who was in Dead Presidents, who actually did pretty well.
And
wait a minute. Well, I don't know who you think of. I was going to say Mike Epps, but I don't know who you're going to say.
Well, no, I was going to say Chris Tucker was also in
Jackie Brown. But he was being funny in that.
Well, not really.
No, he was
funny, but he wasn't doing a comedy.
There was 1 second in there where he's
the funniest part is when after he's dead.
Well, no, even when they open the trunk, he's like, "Hey, motherfucker, what you bam bam," you know. But there's a brief second in there where he's actually talking to Samuel Jackson, like, "Hey, man, good looking out, man. You want to come on in?" But he's still kind of being funny. But in Dead Presidents, he's being really serious because he's a strung-out junkie. Yeah. And Mike Epps, I saw really briefly give some sort of seriousness to his role in Talk to Me, where he was Don Cheadle's brother. Don Cheadle played the guy.
Don Cheadle.
Cheadle, whatever.
Don.
That's what. Who did I say?
John.
No, I said Don. I did say
You're
Don.
like
I didn't say
John
John.
John Cheadle.
You people go back and listen to it. I said Don. I said.
What do you mean, you people?
What are
you talking? Why you call us
you people?
All right, Ross.
You know you black people and everybody else. No, you Negroes out there. Listen to what I'm saying. No, it's Don Cheadle's brother in Talk to Me is played by Mike Epps. Mike Epps is of course, I don't even like him sometimes. I think he's too over the top. But in that movie, he shows some restraint. And I was like, you know something? You give this guy a serious role, and he can do it. Speaking
of, you want to talk about great black comedian transitions?
Jamie Foxx?
Dude, Eddie Murphy.
You know what?
I mean, Eddie Murphy did a lot of comedies, and then he did Dreamgirls, and man, was he fucking fantastic.
You're gonna hate me for this, but I'm still not convinced with Dreamgirls because most of his time he was being Eddie Murphy. Hey, girls, how you doing? And hey, lady, come on, sit in the back of the bus with me. I want to party with you real quick. I want to chat with you. But there was one part in that movie where I thought like, wow, I really feel the emotion, and it was a look that he just gave. Now, you can get that look sometimes from just holding the camera on somebody when they don't even know it. And when you don't have to do any dialogue, that's easy to get. So I'm still not fully convinced with Eddie Murphy. But I think he's a talented enough guy to pull it off.
I think Eddie Murphy has it. No, there's a lot of great comedians who have, and look at comedy actors who have turned into serious actors. One of our most Academy Award-winning living actors today started out as a comedian. Tom Hanks.
That's right. He was
doing
comedy.
Tom Hanks was doing dumbass comedy. I mean, come on. Who could forget the timeless classic of Turner and Hooch?
Man.
And yet here is the guy that turned around and gave us Forrest Gump and gave us Philadelphia and has done so many great roles since then.
Bachelor Party, man. Forget Turner and Hooch.
Bachelor Party is one of the good comedies.
Bosom Buddies that he did on television.
See, I loved Bosom Buddies.
I did too, man. I used to come in and I had to watch Bosom Buddies. It was a syndication I watched. I got to watch Bosom Buddies. Now, Bosom Buddies is a show with Tom Hanks where he's with another.
Wasn't it Peter McNichol that was also on the show with him?
No, it wasn't Peter McNichol. It wasn't Peter McNichol. You're thinking of Christy McNichol's brother.
Yeah.
Peter McNichol was in Dragon Slayer. No, that wasn't the guy.
No, you're right.
It was not that guy. I forgot what the guy, Peter something, I think.
Yeah, it's Peter something. It's one of the Peter.
But anyway, Tom Hanks came from this big fucking comedic background. He is one of our most treasured dramatic actors now.
A lot of our dramatic actors really did come out of comedy, and it's really not that far.
And look at Jamie Foxx. I mean, again, Jamie Foxx. I'm just bringing him up because Jamie Foxx did 5 years ago did a comedy show on stage.
Who thought he was ever going to be? In fact, when he was cast as Ray, everyone was like, "Really? Come on."
But did you see him in The Kingdom, man? He was very good in The Kingdom. Miami Vice.
The Kingdom is after, and the Miami Vice is after.
Yeah, I know.
When people took him, I love Jamie Foxx. I think he's an incredible actor. But I remember when he was cast as Ray, and everyone was like, "Oh, great, where's this going to go? This is the guy that does stand up." And then he was just fantastic.
No, he was great. I mean, Ray's a very dull movie to me. Where the hell are you going? What? I mean, you just whispering to me in the middle of this.
I was saying keep talking.
Oh, you got to go? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Keep talking.
Okay.
Don't
all right.
say anything about it.
Okay. I'm not. I didn't say anything. He's going to take a shit right now, so I'm going to go ahead and talk to you real quick. I guess this beer is okay. Oh, he's taking a piss right now. I guess this would be a good time for me to check email while he's doing that. But hey, look, I'm going to go ahead and read this other email while he's gone. Somebody help me. He wants to kill me. I don't want to do this every week, but he's making me do this. I'm under his control. He's evil. Evil. Okay, let's see what we got here. It says, it's a nice email. And it's good to read because he doesn't like to read nice emails. I can read this nice email to you. And I think I just want to show my appreciation to you out there who appreciates us. This comes from Jose. And Jose says, I'd like to thank you for what you ask. Well, it's been about a year since I discovered your review in the website, or your reviews in the website. I randomly came across it when I was on YouTube, and I was looking for Transformers and Ghost Rider. He mentioned some other stuff about those reviews that made him laugh, and that's what got him hooked. So let's go ahead and move on from here. I'm just reading a very nice email, which I know you hate, but I every now and then just like to read nice emails at people.
Every once in a while, I like to fluff your ego. What
exactly.
you kids don't realize is that we here at a couple of cold ones, we started a couple of cold ones about a half an hour early today and had a conversation and killed our first beer and a half in there.
Oh, that's right. We did. We did.
And so my bladder was saying, I'm a couple of cold ones heavy, and it's time to take a break. So anything that your Uncle Corey said about me in between there, please ignore that.
I was joking. I could tell. I said you were trying to kill me, and I was under your control, and I don't want to do this every week, but you make me. I said
it's just like the time you said I put my hand on your knee.
I know. You know what?
Wish fulfillment. You know, I understand.
You know what?
If I sat across from someone as sexy as me every week, I too would have problems keeping that under wraps.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, how are you controlling yourself right now? How come you don't put your hand on my knee? Male or female, our animal,
so what's
our
this
vegetable.
Very nice complimentary.
That's from a guy named Jose, and I was just reading about him. And he was saying that he came across a site on YouTube, and he was thanking us for making it happen. He just says it's been about a year, and I've heard interesting things on movies, comics, DVDs, and anything else you and the rest of the crew have been kind enough to share. I'm entertained on a daily basis, and I just wanted to thank you for all the hard work you do. And everyone goes through, and what everyone goes through to keep the site up and running. Thank you, and that's from Jose. And I mean, Jose brings up an interesting point. I mean, it has gotten to this point with at least on this show that I just noticed that we are actually recommending useful things and helpful things to people. I mean, maybe not helpful, but interesting things. I mean, I've noticed that because I didn't think this, you and I just bullshitting, but we bring up something and then people email us and they're like, wow, I didn't know about that. Thank you for mentioning that. I didn't know it. I looked it up and I was thoroughly enjoyed by it. So that's all I was just reading his email for. And I really appreciate that. Every now and then I like to let people know that we're reading their compliments and I want to thank them because without you people out there, well, we wouldn't be at the point we are. There we go again with you people. Jose, you Mexicans out there who come to the site, I really appreciate the help you give us. Now, come over and mow my lawn. Now, no, it's very nice of you to say that.
Euphemism.
Euphemism for what? What the hell are you talking about?
Have you never heard? Never mind. If I have to explain it to you, it's not funny.
Anyway, well,
everyone else out there that knows mow your lawn, they're all like,
"What? Is that like a fucking shave my groin area shit? Is that what that is? Is that what you're talking about?" Because I'm not on this like childish shit like this.
I need to teach you comedy,
because I'm not like a fucking 9-year-old up here giggling at this shit.
And
like
that's
you
why
are.
I just said, "Is that a euphemism?" It just ran off with it, but no,
shit.
You gotta grind
you gotta get nasty. What you gotta do?
Is that a shave your groin joke? Is that what that is? I don't fucking get it.
I have been so mature this whole broadcast, and you had to take it to that level. It's a good thing it's 11:15 because we have. We're coming up on the time it takes.
Don't tell
to
them what time it is because they're gonna go. It's not 11:15.
It doesn't matter. I mean, when keep in mind that this is pre-recorded, people. You know that.
How much time do we have left?
We got 3 minutes. Actually, 2 minutes.
Okay, I just want to say because you moved past it last week, and I got a number of angry emails about this.
About what? Fuck
we didn't talk about
George Carlin.
George Carlin.
Fuck George Carlin. No, I'm kidding.
Dude, if it weren't for George Carlin, we wouldn't be here.
You know something? I must have answered that somewhere else because I thought about talking about George Carlin. We didn't talk about George Carlin?
No, because I brought up George Carlin and you moved on to something else. We never went back because you wanted to talk about Stan Winston again.
Okay, well, we got 1 minute. What do you think? George Carlin.
Dude,
awesome
all
guy.
I can say is, when I was 10 years old, my dad brought home Carlin on Campus. And I was hooked from then on. I mean, that guy introduced me not only to how to properly use the F word, but I memorized that tape, dude. I recorded that thing. I memorized it. I love that guy. The guy was an inspiration to me. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for that guy in what I'm doing now. The guy is just he created an entire new generation of comics and people who try to be funny.
Yeah, no. A lot of people had asked me, how come you didn't make a webcam about Carlin? And I was like, well, I didn't really know Carlin all that well, to be honest with you. I really didn't. But I'm familiar with him. I have no disrespect for him. I think he's a very talented guy. I've seen several of his works outside of comedy, and including Shining Time Station, where he played Mr. Conductor. So I think that, no, look, much respect for him. I'm just not going to try and play this whole role of I knew more about him than I didn't. So.
No, and just for Carlin, ratchet, batshit, dirty old twat, 69 assholes, tied in or not, hooray, lizard shit, fuck.
I'm going to take it that was a Carlin thing.
That was a Carlin thing.
Okay, well, God bless him. There you go. There you go.
There we go.
All right.
Well, that's our show for this week, folks. Thanks for listening, and for giving us an entire hour of wasted time.
It wasn't wasted. We got to drink beer.
Once again, this has been A Couple of Cold Ones
with Corey and Carlisle.
Corey and Carlisle.
Good night, y'all.
Good night, everybody.